D4G Boxing Day.
Diving it. Diving it. Diving it. Diving it.
What do you think it's called? Diving
it. Diving it. Glory. Diving it. Diving it. Glory. Diving it. Glory.
Welcome back, D4G Boxing Day special.
Hasta la vista, baby. Hasta la vista, baby.
Welcome back. Thursday, Diving for Glory, Boxing Day special. About to hit you off with this EPL review and this Serie A review, as they are the only people who played. Please don't forget, Diving for Glory posts every Monday and Thursday on Champions League weeks, even though we're doing a special Boxing Day episode this week. You can hit us up at Diving for Glory at Twitter, on Facebook, and we post on iTunes, YouTube, and divingforglory.com every Monday, Thursday. Please hit us up, iTunes, rate us 5 stars. Sir Solomon, what it do?
What's good?
Let's go, let's go. Let's just jump right into it, man. Fuck all this. Yeah. So, we're going to hit you off with the EPL. We're going to start it at the EPL. They've been joined this year by Serie A. Serie A recently just started doing this Boxing Day thing in an effort to obviously expand their league profile. Some good games, though. But we're going to start you off and do it chronologically, man. How it all went down in real time. And it started off with Fulham battling relegation at home against the Wolves. And Fulham looked like they were going to take 3 points from this.
Until they didn't. They still don't know how to play any defense.
Oh, hell no. Wolves were hella active in this game, too.
Yeah, Wolves are moving the ball and stuff, but they haven't had a consistent score up front and their possession-based style of football. I don't know if on January, Mr. Gomez, the president / super agent that runs Wolves, is going to just bring them a striker. But until they do, they're going to not be able to sweep a team like Fulham aside because they don't score enough.
And that's so. I wonder then, if you add a striker to their situation, do they threaten Europa at that point? They're 7th place in the league, I believe.
Yeah, very much so.
So how does a team? Did they have a lot of these players in the championship last year?
Yeah. They added to it also this summer, but Ruben Neves shouldn't be on this team, but it's just due to being owned by Jorge Mendes and Gomez.
Will they get rated this summer, do you think?
I don't think they'll get rated because they'll be putting them up for sale. Just have a good high price tags to them, and he'll bring in some more
Portuguese
clients and develop them. Some of them look quite comfortable. I don't know if they'll have a mass sale, but yeah, it's prepared. It's a team that's there to exhibit the talents of these guys. So unless they become a major team, they're gonna keep selling.
Wolves, with that draw, actually now sit 10th. They were 7th at the beginning of this. Fulham actually move out of the bottom of the table, and they are 4 points away from Cardiff in safety. Claudio Ranieri trying to survive. Staying alive. All right, moving along to Manchester United. Manchester United in Solskjaer's second game in charge.
Ole Gunnar.
Ole.
Yeah, it's been all Ole since he became the
all Ole. And Mr. Pauli Pogba had his highest rated game in over a year, and with the brace and just overall doing work in this game, man. 3-1 over Huddersfield.
Yeah, 2 goals, and he's had 2 goals and 2 assists since Mourinho got fired. And Pogmoji. He released his own emoji.
Really?
Yeah, Pogmoji.
Does he do this stuff instead of like practicing, man? Like,
Do you think that all these guys are practicing all day?
some of them.
They're practicing like 4 hours a day, which means if you practice 4 hours a day, you're really, really
Badass.
committed.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like they have about 2 hours of practice, some, and then you do some on your own, Like they have all athletes, because rest is required, they have a lot of free time.
Okay. I just imagine Ronaldo, that's all he does is like work on his abs or his celebrations or something.
He gets it into
His hair.
He's
How long
not-
you think the hair? He's at least spending a couple hours on the hair.
Yeah, probably, but he's doing things.
No more trips to Vegas. I bet that.
Yep.
Man, Manchester United 2-0 since losing Mourinho and scoring goals.
They
At
lose
that.
it.
Well, kicking him the fuck out the door. Holla. On the other side of Manchester, things are all of a sudden United has made up 6 points on City. What the fuck?
They should hire Jose Mourinho.
What?
City.
Man, come on.
He's
man.
on the market now.
So,
I'm
hey,
just saying.
defensive coordinator.
Pep and him would have a fight in the first 5 minutes.
Oh,
But-
dude.
A few things. Injuries have hit City at very key positions, especially Mr. Fernandinho being out of the team has apparently completely imbalanced them. I don't know.
I think I mentioned it last week. It just sucks that a team so talented on paper comes down to one position that can really unravel you, and you get it because the dude, like, nobody can do what he does for this team.
Yeah.
You slot in a Stones, you slot in a Gundogan, who's a more forward-thinking player, and he just doesn't defend like a Fernandinho does, and John Stones just can't read the game like that, in my opinion, yet. It's tough out there. What you gonna do?
To me, it's not just that they're missing him because, for example, the Crystal Palace game, they didn't have him, Kevin De Bruyne, David Silva, Sergio Aguero, Ben Mendy, And at some point, moving a bunch of players out of, initially when they started, John Stones and Laporte were playing together, and City looked totally with Fernandinho in front of them. And now, due to injuries, they're moving around and they're playing, but they're not playing in the center of defense together like they were. And that looks like it's imbalanced the team. The right back, left back situation is like Mendy's injury on one side and Kyle Walker being inconsistent. He's had a decent season, but the past few games, he's the last game, he had a hand in every fucking goal that we need.
Yep. Well, once Mangala come back, it'll all be stout, I'm sure.
So now they're 7 points behind.
7 points behind first.
Yes.
Insurmountable?
No.
They have to win, though, Thursday.
Yeah.
Have to win. Like, you can't draw, you can't lose. They lose, it's a wrap, in my opinion.
I don't think it's a wrap by any stretch of the imagination when the season goes on to May, and if City goes through a streak like this, why can't anybody else, And it always happens to every team. They don't play at the top of their level for the whole season. That being said, we have to also take into consideration a certain Tottenham Hotspurs. It will be very complex when everybody's looking at the Liverpool Manchester City dynamic. This team has been playing very good football, and Liverpool has Arsenal followed by Manchester City coming up, which one of those games Manchester City has to. So Tottenham is actually kind of sitting pretty right now.
Very much. We'll get to their result here in a second. Leicester City, usually the other thing here between Palace and Leicester, they've played City tough since Pep has been there. They actually beat them 4-2, I think, in Pep's first year. They played them tough in each EFL Cup games that they played. They played just this last week and had to go to extra time and penalties.
And they just came off beating Chelsea and the league last time out, didn't they?
Yep. Yeah.
So, they're not the championship team of 2 years ago, but they're not just some rinky-dink team at the bottom of the league,
Oh, absolutely. The other thing I just wanted to bring up was lost on a lot of people, maybe, or just not mentioned a lot. Was City was relatively healthy all year last year, and that's kind of looking like what
Liverpool
is.
was ravaged last year, and it's looking a little vice versa. I wouldn't call it ravaged for Manchester City, mostly because they have so many players. But another problem I'm seeing with Manchester City, like for example, when Mourinho was coach, Alex Ferguson and stuff, there was the coach who was the big leader of the team, and then you have like the player leaders. Who's those guys? And I don't think that City has enough of those. Like Virgil van Dijk came to Liverpool and took it by the helm. Him and Mo Salah and like the forward line are.
You would venture to say Company, Silva, and maybe even
Company doesn't play enough
Fernandinho.
anymore. That's what I'm saying.
That's what
It's
I'm saying, yeah.
But all of actually not counting Fernandinho because now it's just when he got injured. But like Silva and Company have been. But battered of injuries lately, so they need some. And their talisman, Sergio Aguero, isn't a guy that comes to training on time and stuff. Like he's not that guy. He's just gonna come in, score his goals, and fucking dip.
Mm-hmm. Interesting twists and turns of the EPL title race.
Kevin De Bruyne, it's your team. Take it.
KDB, man, yeah, for real. Moving along, Crystal Palace, Cardiff City, 0-0. This same Crystal Palace that scored 3 goals last week on City.
I mean, it depends on how the man, Mr. Zaha, performs.
31 shots,
Yeah,
no goals. 5 on target, though, as Cardiff only has 9 total shots. But, hey, well done to Cardiff. Get that point away. Fuck it. They're 4 points out of relegation at this point.
Cardiff can't score, so if they can get you to 0-0 and get the point, that's fine. But that's another funny thing that hasn't been noticed in the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer Love Fest is that both Cardiff and Huddersfield are the 2 lowest scoring, lowest chance creating teams in the league, and both of them got a goal very easily from very few chances, and that is going to be.
I think you mentioned it, or somebody mentioned it in my life, that part of the motivation to get rid of Mourinho at this juncture was that they got a run of pretty relatively easy games, a lot of games back to back, and it was untenable to have another transfer window with Mourinho.
All those make sense. Also because it's kind of common practice in most sports that if you're gonna do a mid-season firing and you want it to, you're doing it to create a jump start. So to do it like the game before, like the week before, like a Chelsea game or something, wouldn't do any,
Yeah, they waited till after the Liverpool game.
Yeah, they give 3-4 games, they get a little momentum going. Now he can actually start implementing what he wants to do and stuff.
Yep. Speaking of Liverpool, they trounced Newcastle 4-0.
Yeah.
Lovren with the opener.
What a fucking opener, man.
Yeah, he smashed that.
I don't know how the second half of the season is going, but the kind of football they're playing, how they're playing, this is going to be a very, very difficult team to unseat. Now, that being said, they have 2 games upcoming that are very important, like we mentioned, Arsenal and Manchester City. Mm-hmm. Those will determine a lot about the season, and hopefully we get to see a lot of good football in those games.
Yeah, I hope so. They have already met both those teams and drew with both of those teams.
I think, it was.
Yeah.
Aubameyang we'll get to him later, but him, Mo Salah, and Harry Kane are vying for top scorer.
Yeah, and our friend, good old Mike, mentioned Fabinho with the 4th goal here. Man, he's after that super slow start or not even playing or whatever it was, he's been looking nice, man.
And the ball is moving in midfield. You see a lot of Fabinho, Keita, Windala. He's switching it up, and there's a lot more guys that can actually pass the ball back and forth, 2-1-2s. Therefore, the reliance on the forward line to move the ball up the field is taken away. You just get it to them when it's ready, and they try to make a move on goal instead of having to come back, build the ball, the play up themselves, and go up.
Mm-hmm. So one quick question about them, because we lauded VVD last week and gave him our man of the week, our dude of the week, and I followed up and saw ESPN also mentioned, they said he's player of the year so far in Premier League.
He's in the conversation for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If he were to go down, are they in serious trouble?
It depends for how long, but yes, I would say that's a big loss to have. Yeah, and a lot of people will play them further up. A lot of people would run at you. It's not that you just... Virgil van Dijk is not just how good he is. It's the perception he gives also. It's like having a good center in the back. Like people don't come in for layups. Like now you'd play further up and try to go at them more, and it wouldn't be a good thing.
No, not at all. Moving along, as you mentioned earlier, Tottenham have been smashing motherfuckers lately, and quiet but kept, not even quiet, but like nobody really has considered them a threat for this title. Do you think that perception has changed after this 5-0 over Bournemouth, where everybody's scoring?
Right after a 6-2 over Everton, so
Yeah.
they have scored 11 goals in 2 games. Therefore, we have to fucking take them serious.
I looked at their
And-
they have 4 losses, no draws. Three of those losses are to City, Arsenal, and Liverpool. And
Yeah,
then they
list-
got the one Watford. No.
But yeah, they got no ties. But if you look at Son, Harry Kane, Lucas, and now Christian Eriksen is coming around too and starting to play some really good football. Like this team generally goes through the January period very well, but I think this year is going to be even more so. And I don't know how they're going to do with their European expectations, but I think that they're all going to rally behind the fact that it's going to be Pochettino's last season. I think that it's going to be Toby Alderweireld's last season. He just signed an extension, but that extension allows him to leave for £29 million in the summer.
Do they need Virgil van Dijk to go down to have a chance?
It wouldn't hurt, but
They're 6 points back at this point.
Yeah, they're 6 points back. I think they're in it. I think even without Virgil van Dijk going down, like they're right there, So we'll see. Man City, it must be mentioned, has played all the other big 5 teams away. They get to play them at home.
I was just going to say, like, in looking at their schedule, Man City basically is done playing all the big teams like in February, and it's cupcakes the rest
And
of the
then it's
season.
all at home too.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yep.
they've played all their away legs. So
It'll be fascinating. Hopefully, it tightens back up a little bit. We shall see.
that's what she said.
That's what she said. Hopefully not. But all right, moving along. Burnley, burn something, kid. At home to Everton, and Everton decided to take out their frustrations of getting smacked around last week on Burnley.
Yep, they
Five-
got that goal
five-
difference back.
5-1.
They were -4 after that week, and like they got 4 goal difference back. So it's like the Tottenham result never happened.
Only in their brains. Yeah, they were up 3-0 within 22 minutes here.
Yeah, and Andre Gomez finally managed a yellow card in this game.
Really? He's actually doing something other than just absolutely nothing. Nice.
So out of the midfielder and the defender that were brought from Barca over the summer, the defender scored 2 goals in this game.
Yeri.
No,
Who?
Luca Digne.
Oh, Dini. He had a nice goal.
Yeah,
One of them was like a rocket in the top corner, dude. Ooh.
and Digne scored the goal. Everybody except Andre Gomez scored the goal.
All
He
10
got
players.
substituted for Idrissa Gueye, Ghana.
Yeah.
And even that dude had his bad luck on him, so all he got was a fucking yellow for simulation.
Everton doing their mid-table thing. Burnley fighting off the relegation bug. They're in the relegation zone at the moment. 3 points back of Cardiff.
They shall stay there.
Cardiff B. Moving along. A slightly disappointing result. Not even slightly. Very disappointing result for Arsenal. 1-1 away to Brighton. And this was a game, maybe it was a rotation game, I don't know, but statistically, they only managed 7 shots. They dominated possession. Not much going on for Arsenal here.
Arsenal,
what's up with that?
For the last 4 or 5 years, has needed some fucking shooting practice. Like, I think they just practice passing. Unless they see spectacular opportunities, they're not blasting shots.
Ozil started this game off at halftime. They
Then-
started Aubameyang and Lacazette up top.
And then fucking Iwobi comes on, and the first time he gets the ball, he just turns around and kicks it straight out of bounds. There was nobody there. I was like, oh, so this is the improvement you'd planned on?
A little nervous. Disappointing, though, for Arsenal to drop those points after...
So, between the 30th minute and the first 25 minutes of the second half, which is a period of like 40 minutes. I think there was one shot by Arsenal.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Are you? I know we talked a little bit in depth about him last week, but are you thinking Ozil's done here?
I don't think he was less or more done than he's been before. Like, I think they're actively trying to find a place for him, and until they do, they'll include him in some games. But
the writing's on the wall, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they played him last week, and they had he had a goal in all. He had a hand in all 3 goals. It's just, I don't know. The team as a whole is inconsistent. I don't just see it as an Ozil problem.
No doubt. Well, the team that
Aubameyang, though, big time, top of the league in scoring.
I was definitely sketchy about him this year. I just wasn't sold on him yet. He's nice, man.
As kind of his sidekick is doing his thing. He makes a lot of passes to him. Like, he sets him up nice.
I think that's been a big help for Lacazette, man. Like him just up there alone as the number 9.
And not being expected to score, but just to be expected to kind of make plays like that. I think he's really much more comfortable in that than, like, he's almost like his Roberto Firmino to Aubameyang Salah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, the team that Arsenal will potentially be shooting it out for the top 4 with Chelsea, they got a 2-1 over Watford as Mr. Eden Hazard continues to pile on his future Madrid CV.
Oh, no. After he scored, he said he wants to stay in Chelsea and be a legend like John Terry, Lampard.
Okay. We'll see.
I don't know. He might leave, he might not. That's fine, but I've been surprised at the fact that he has stayed here this long so far. So I wouldn't be surprised if he just decided to finish off here for a few more years. You know?
Yep. 2 Europa campaigns and a no Europe at all campaign, and he stuck around.
Yeah, so he like him some London.
We'll see. We'll see what happens when Real Madrid come in with that offer. And last match of the round is Southampton hosting West Ham, and they are playing today at 2:45. And that is your English Boxing Day results. Any thoughts on those, man? Overall thoughts?
Over the festive period so far, Liverpool has shown themselves to be quite strong, and I want to see how these next 2 games go, because if they get through this, then a lot of, like, it's going to start looking a lot like that Leicester City season.
Word up. All right.
So don't Redskins it.
Please don't. All right. We're going to run through these Serie A matches. There was a lot going on. And it started off with Frosinone. I just imagine an Italian Fonz. Frosinone got the 0-0 draw with Milan. Milan disappointing here.
Technically, Fonz is Italian Fonz.
I figured that.
But Mr. Rino Gattuso's job is hot. I don't know if it can get any hotter. He is in the hot seat like no other motherfucker. And they need to turn around results if they're trying to have him.
It's just wasteful here. 25 total shots, only 6 on target. Dominated possession away here, but
they're full of a lot of very, very overrated players, and when you have that and a relatively inexperienced coach, this is what you bring out, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Still in the battle for top 4.
Frankesi, Bakayoko, and Hakan Kalhanoglu being your midfield 3.
Bakayoko.
Yeah, but like Frankesi does his job at a better pace than him. Like, he's just redundant at this point, even though he got a high rating in this game that nothing happened in. But I don't know. It just, he hasn't known, like, and he switches his teams out like large sweeping changes, you know, like from game to game. Like Samu Castillejo is a striker today. Last time, you know, it's somebody else out there, like in the forward line, and you don't get any momentum.
No doubt. Moving along, the machine that is Juventus did everything they could to lose this game and still did not lose. It started
Things
off,
got serious, so what they do?
brought on Ronaldo.
Basically.
I mean, they started off, they went down to an own goal within 2 minutes. Or, I mean, they got an own goal. They went up.
Yeah.
And then they ended up in, so it's 1-1 at half.
Jim City is the guy's name.
Jim City.
The guy that's called in Berat, Jim City.
Jim City. And then Bentancur gets a red card. Peace. Holla. Right at the beginning of the second half.
Yeah, Duvan Zapata scored on either side of his red card.
So it's 2-1 at this point, and it's looking very much like Juventus is finally going to drop points away to Atalanta. The Italians.
Alien.
But Ronaldo comes on in the 65th minute and gets a little.
Mr. Clutch gets him the assist.
Oh, Mr. Mandzukic.
Mario Mandzukic.
And that's that, man. 2-2. They drop points, but they do not lose. Can't be mad at that.
I mean, you're not gonna go through the season, and you can, but if you don't, it's not.
But
Yeah, but it's tough. It's an exception when you do it.
absolutely.
And they've only done it once in 100 years or something. It's not like they just go out and have undefeated seasons left and right either.
Word up. All right, moving along. Sampdoria 2-0 over Chievo Verona. The only story here is Quagliarella.
Rena.
Good old Quagmire.
Yes, he is a quagmire of a person. He did play all the way up to Juve, but now he's back here at 35 or 36 years old, doing back heels from the penalty spot.
Sick.
Just motherfucker didn't know what the fuck hit him. Nice opening goal for that game. Big up, Fabio.
Yep, and then they finished it off with Gaston Ramirez. 2-0 over Chievo. 2-0 over Chievo, Sampdoria. Surprising result here a little bit. Fiorentina take a 1-0 to Parma. I like Parma, man.
They're pulling off a few surprises. I like how they're coming back into the league this season, and I think it's a good season to build up.
Yeah, they'll be staying up for sure.
I mean, they were so comfortable. They didn't bring on Gervinho until the 87th minute.
Don't need them. Cagliari 1-0 over Genoa. That's a 48th minute. What the hell? That's a stoppage time goal by Diego Farias. It's all they need to get all 3 points.
Diego Farias from Dario Serna.
Mm-hmm. Lazio 2-0 away to Bologna.
Lazio's turning it around. They're playing really good. Rumor is Sergej Milinkovic-Savic will be playing for AC Milan.
January? Next year.
They're saying January.
Why would Lazio do that?
For money reasons.
So they can pay the rest of their players? But I mean, is it not more valuable to them to make a top 4 than to fucking sell one of your best players in the middle of the year?
I've never had a decision to make that costs 100 million euros, so I wouldn't know what it's going to mean.
Hold up, man.
What you're
AC
saying?
got 100 million. Word up.
No, what I'm trying to say is what you're saying depends on what kind of money is being moved. And because of this, first of all, that's one of the main reasons that right now the rumor is that Gonzalo Higuain and Alvaro Morata are going to be having the switch. This Juventus just approved it yesterday or something, they were saying, because he's still a Juventus player. And that is one of the reasons being to take the pay package of Higuain off the book.
Which was silly in my opinion for them to even take that on. But
They got the defender out of it.
they did, the young guy.
That's what they wanted.
True. So
And they needed a striker for a loner striker.
So tell me something. How much does that improve if it were to go down the Chelsea striker situation?
A lot.
Because he can actually finish if you put it right there in front of him.
The only determining factor is would he be fit enough in terms of he's always had
Looks slow and chunky, man.
whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you can make do with some Olivier Giroud and stuff in your games, this guy, he's faster than that and he's better. He scores. He just doesn't do it in the biggest of moments. he wouldn't, like Morata, go through like 15 games straight with no goals. Like, he would give you goals in those against those small teams, and that's usually what you can win leagues over.
Well, I smile secretly inside thinking of Higuain playing for Chelsea. Anybody who's not going to do it in the big moment, please enjoy your time at the Blues, man.
Last season, he had quite a few in the Champions League. Him and the boy Paulo Dybala. The Tottenham game, they balled out. So half of the thing about him is it's kind of a bit of a myth too. But when you play as many games at the top like he has over the course of your career, there's going to be ample critiques. You know what I'm saying?
Which you are always quick to dish out, may I add.
Absolutely. I think you're also much more accountable by playing at the top levels. You know? I think that the expectations should also be adjusted, and you should hold the person to higher standards.
He was one of the, if not the highest transfer in the world for a hot second.
Yeah.
Word up. 31 years old. All right, moving along. Torino 3-0 over Empoli.
Empoli had a red card in this one, but don't get it twisted. It happened
so
after all the action in the 89th minute for argument.
Done. All 3 points for Torino. Torino sitting nice mid-table. All they need to do is survive. Roma finally get themselves a W with a 3-1. Patrick Schick not looking like Schick.
Oh no, he's been doing it and Diego Perotti scores the penalty. Patrick Schick making it 2-0, and Cengiz Under in the midfield is playing really good, and Bayern rumors won't go away.
Bayern, really? He's Turkish, right?
Yeah.
I would have thought Chelsea would have pushed a little bit more for a kid like that.
We'll see. These are silly season rumors, so you don't know.
You never know. A lot can change. Spal get the 0-0 draw with Udinese. Kind of disappointing because they had an upset last week, didn't they? No, they almost did. Napoli. We'll talk about Napoli. Inter Napoli. This is how the Boxing Day ended, which is awesome.
This is unboxing.
It was some boxing. So Juventus finally dropped points here. Napoli have a chance to close that gap and at least make it like legit 6 points. But there's a lot of shit that went down here.
They go to the racist cauldron known as the San Siro. Koulibaly gets racist chants, monkey chants all day to where he can't even handle it and gets sent off for clapping at the referee. He got a yellow card, and he was so pissed off because they asked the referee multiple times to stop the game. It was fucking ignored, and he did a foul, so he gets a yellow card, and upset, he claps at the referee, so he sends him off to complete the racist moment of the day.
What's your opinion on Serie A's lack of response to the racism?
This isn't a lack of response to the racism. This is actually racist behavior on the field also, because this guy who is flustered because of what's happening to him got punished by the referee. So it's not just like lacks, no response. They're part of it.
So I guess what I'm thinking is, and maybe I just haven't paid that much of attention, but at least Tottenham and Chelsea Chelsea has been paying lip service to what's been going on with their fans, and
there were many monkey chants at their game too, racist chants,
and anti-Semitic chants as well. What's your thoughts on it overall, though? Can you actually do something about it? I mean, we are in a time of nationalism, populism, and things of that nature.
You could stop the game.
We should.
You should stop the game. Before we get into can you stop that? And then after that, you make the team play in behind closed doors, which cost them money.
Yep.
You make the team, you start taking away points, which cost them trophies, and gets teams relegated or whatever. And until the confederation or the federation of sports in the country makes an active effort to do it, like when they did with hooliganism. And whenever there's an economic downturn, hooliganism goes up a little bit too, because there's more disenfranchised people. So you have to make the clubs accountable. Like in Spain, you can be as racist as you want, and they just fine you £6,000 or something for a $1 billion club. You know, so it's the federations that have to show some effort. If you start fining a team points, and then there's fan section that say that, the other fans might go after them. You know, like you would be like the team would go after them to kick them out. Mm-hmm. But now they just think it's funny because it's not nothing based on against them.
Money talks basically here.
And points are money too. But like, you know, like these are the things you have to hit the club where it matters as a big organization.
I've only seen it happen in Champions League, where they actually do responses like what you're talking about, where they make the people play behind closed doors and things of that nature.
That's what I mean. And even then, it's like not necessarily for racism, but more for like some sort of hooliganism, you know. Mm-hmm. But they need to start addressing it, and even in England, it's coming up again. It's so points. You have to hit them for points. You have to close their doors, and that's the only way. And you know, you can do it like you can tier it. Like, I'm gonna shut down one section. And then if you do it again, you're going to shut down the whole stadium. Like,
so my other question then is, I don't understand. The one part I don't understand is from the fans' perspective, like you're racially abusing these players as if you don't have any black guys on your team. Like, does that even enter their stratosphere? They don't really give a fuck. It's like, hey, as long as you're out there,
mass hysteria has no logic, man. Okay. Inter have Asamoah playing for them, you know, like they cheer him, but it's, I don't know, the racism doesn't have any logic, you know. The people be sitting down watching LeBron James play being racist, you know, but like he's not black, yeah. You know, like that's how they think.
Yeah.
You know? So there's no logic.
He
to
talks
racism.
so well, has so much, dresses so nice.
But the one thing you know is that if you hold clubs accountable in ways that they cannot shirk, then changes will happen. So, attitude reflecting leadership, it means that they're not really interested in making the teams accountable for it.
Yeah, I got a couple friends that do not watch Serie A because of the lack of response. So,
yeah, I can see that, and they should suffer.
So, end result of this game after Koulibaly goes off?
Lautaro Martinez, injury time.
91st minute.
Yeah, injury time winner. And pandemonium ensues to where Insigne also gets a red.
Straight red.
Yeah, because he totally told the referee off. Fucking Ancelotti after the game was like, if they're not going to do it, we're going to start walking out.
And they should. They should.
I agree with them.
And they should.
I agree with him 100%. And like, and his defense of his player shows why you also bring in a person like Ancelotti. Like, he's a class act.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to our D4G idol. I don't know what to say. Balotelli, because he did that shit. He walked off in the one. Was that a Euro game or something?
Samuel did it one better and scored the winning goal against them when they did it.
Yeah,
he was about to walk off. No, he didn't. He was about to walk off. Ronaldinho was like, "If you want to, I'll walk in with you, walk off with you, but let's just finish it off, whatever."
Is it AC? It's for AC.
No, at Barca.
Okay.
And so it was, I think Zaragoza,
Gotcha.
and the notoriously very, very racist team, Real Zaragoza. And right after the game restarted, Eto'o buzzed the move and gets a fucking penalty. And Ronaldinho offered it to him to take, but he let Ronaldinho take it because he was whatever. But like he killed him.
Nice. I find it. I also find it fascinating. Last little comment on that thing is, it is actually starting to come out in U.S. sports. The players are actually talking about being racially abused, and I've never seen it at a game or experienced it, but I didn't doubt that it went on, and it's a sad thing, man. It's too bad, but. Oh well, diving for glory, man. That's how it goes down. Speaking of, I wanted to holler at Mo Salah because he took a dive for glory this week.
He didn't get no charges on his ass.
Nah, he didn't.
That could have been a very, very bad decision dive-wise, because if they had suspended him for the next couple of games or something, which I don't see why they would do that.
It seemed, in my opinion, it seems like EPL has kind of stopped calling simulation. I've seen it in a few other things, but man, they are not calling that shit in EPL this year.
It's becoming a no call.
Yeah.
Like,
Pretty much. I actually prefer that to be
I would
honest.
rather, but I think that if it's egregious, which by the way, it has to be said, I did not think the Mozala was that egregious, so it's fine. But if it's egregious, I think that they should retrospectively take action on it.
Yeah, maybe VAR will assist in.
That definitely will, and
because it's hard.
Has to happen.
It's hard in full speed to see if somebody actually got pushed or just went to ground.
Yeah, and it's almost just as hard to see it in replay because even things that are like in real speed, something that happens in a second in replay looks like just somebody brushed him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
on both ends, like it's kind of difficult. So it'll definitely discourage like diving.
Absolutely.
Like in Italy, like they've been
like
taking away goals and stuff from
I feel like
teams,
it. I feel
penalties.
like it has. I feel like it has.
That's what I'm
Since they
saying.
did
And-
the simulation, like cats have kind of stopped on purpose. I mean, there's still some people that do it. You know what I'm saying? But
on once you have the video assistant referee, like penalties will start getting taken away and being turned into yellow cards. So like now you're all in with your dive.
yeah, for sure. VAR will be in EPL and Champions League next year. So all the big 5 leagues. And
Champions League is trying to introduce some
January.
sort of like in
That's
the
right,
second
this
half
year.
of the.
No doubt. Yeah. Well, we'll see. And that is our Boxing Day special match. Man, tune in. Some good games coming up. More games, Serie A and EPL this weekend, followed by that Liverpool City match next week, which I'll be gone for. So, either way, Diving for Glory, hit us up. DivingForGlory.com, YouTube, iTunes, post every Monday and Thursday. Hit us on iTunes, rate us those 5 stars, and hit us on Facebook or Twitter at Diving for Glory. That's it, man. So Solomon, happy motherfucking New Year, son.
Happy New Year's.
Yeah.
We have one more in before New Year's.
You do. I won't be
Okay.
here.
Right.
Oh, that's right. Sunday.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Maybe holler at you Sunday.
He will be here, bitches.
Peace.
Diving. Diving.
What do you think of condoms?
Diving. Diving. Diving.
You guys think Max, no one is in the fucking reserves.
Diving. Diving. Glory.
He's not a man. There's nothing more to say.
Diving. Glory.